Hey everyone, it's time for Macro Minute Monday. This week's macro is called Create Mapped File. Now, what this does is it allows you to take one data source with whatever columns or fields that you have and then transfer that into a different type of structure, mapping fields from one to the other, and then saving that in a centralized place in the right format, choosing whether or not you want to use headers. So the idea for doing this is it's a controlled way to take a lot of copy paste that people are doing, automate it, add control to it, and make it really easy for you. So how this works is when you run it, again called Create Mapped File, when you run it, it's going to create the sheet that you're seeing right here. It's going to have, all this is going to be blank in columns B through E. It's going to have the fields that you're going to need to use in column B. It tells you what these things mean with cell comments behind them. So you're going to fill that in. You're also going to fill in what sheet is going to have the source data, what sheet should have the resulting data, and then where do you want it to go, what should the prefix be of the file it creates, what type of file should it save, and then should it export headers or not? So what row should you start on? So to give an example of what this data looks like before, here's our source data. So maybe that's a common file or report that you're running all the time, right? Maybe it's something that you compile together, whatever that case might be. Now in this example, these columns right here, A through I, are the source data, and what's happened is when the macro is run, it adds these other ones. We'll come back to that in just a moment. This right here, the test extract, this is the resulting thing. So this will be blank. It'll automatically clear this out every time you run it after it saves this file or this sheet to a separate file. This is what you want it to look like. And then you can have lookups, like in this case, I'm calling them rollups, because we want to add data to that source data for them to then copy in a controlled way to the resulting file or sheet, or both. So let's break this down a little bit. Here in column C, we're just mapping the column. So this one says it needs to be entity. Well, that comes from B, that's company. A lot of times those are used interchangeably. So it copies that over here to entity. Notice that they're the same. So it just repeats that. Anytime you have a column letter here, it will just copy and paste the entire thing. You can also just insert fixed values. So if it's a currency or something else that should never change, you can just insert that. And that can be a hard-coded value, or it could be linked to some kind of an input if it's maybe a date. And then lastly, if you wanted to add a formula, just indicate where that should go. So this is column J in the source. Here's the formula we want to add. You want to add that formula as if it's in the row 2, and then it will fill it down. And then it will use the resulting value here to copy and paste in that resulting sheet and in the file. Really cool how this works. It's extremely quick at taking a copy-paste exercise that has a lot of risk that things are wrong and doing it for you. So the result is this sheet here. And then it's also going to be exported into whatever file you say over here in the yellow cells. And that's it. This can save a lot of time when you have to take one format and go to another. There's all kinds of examples I've used to do that. So that's it for this week. Please like, comment, repost, share this with a friend you think might be finding this useful. And also try it out for yourself. See what this can do for you in saving a lot of time and reducing risk. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome rest of your day.